So part 2 of the summary of operations with signed numbers is talking about multiplying and dividing integers. And the same rules apply to both of these. That the way that I like to explain this is by thinking about Valentine's Day, which did just pass us by here a little bit ago. So unfortunately this lecture isn't matching up exactly with the holiday. But I have a way of explaining these that I think will help you remember how they work. So if you think of the different things that can happen in a relationship. If you like someone, and that makes you feel pretty positive, and they like you too, that is a good situation. It's a positive situation. If there's someone that you're not particularly interested in, and they don't really like you either, that's okay too. So that's also going to result in a positive situation. The place where we run into trouble is when you like someone, but they don't like you. That would be a negative situation. Or someone that you don't like likes you a lot and won't leave you alone and keeps chasing you around campus. That also is going to be a negative situation. So I use that as the way of explaining that anytime you're multiplying a positive number by another positive number or a negative number by a negative number, your answers will come out to be positive. And likewise, if you're multiplying a positive times a negative or a negative times a positive, the answer in both of those cases is going to come out to be negative. And I want you to notice, unlike the adding and subtracting problems, it doesn't matter which number comes first, whether it's the positive or the negative number, and it also doesn't matter which number has the larger absolute value. If the larger absolute value is negative, the answer is negative, but it's also true that if the larger absolute value is positive, the answer is still negative. So in the examples that we're looking at here, 6 and 2 are both positive, so their outcome is going to be a positive 12. Negative 6 and negative 2 also have the same sign, so their answer is also a positive 12. And when you reverse the order and do 2 times 6, or negative 2 times negative 6, in all 4 of those cases, you're going to get a positive 12. You get a negative 12 when one of the numbers is positive and the other number is negative. And once again, it doesn't matter whether it's the larger number or the smaller number that is negative, the answer will still be negative. It also doesn't matter whether the larger number comes first in the problem or second in the problem, the answer will still be negative. Now I wrote this heart covering both the multiplication and division because the same rules apply when you're doing division. If you have a positive number divided by a positive number, as you already know from doing division all your life, the answer comes out to be positive. But the same is true when you take a negative number and divide it by a negative number. That answer also comes out to be positive. When we look at the ones with different signs, a positive number divided by a negative number or a negative number divided by a positive number, in both of these cases the answer will come out to be negative. So looking at our first couple of cases here, the positive number divided by a positive number, 6 divided by 2 will be 3. A negative number divided by a negative number, negative 6 divided by negative 2, will also be positive 3. But when the first number is positive and the second negative, we get the opposite answer. And when the first number is negative and the second positive, we also get the opposite answer. Now if you look back up here to multiplication, you'll notice that all 4 of our answers came out to be either a positive or negative 12. That is because multiplication is commutative. When you multiply 6 times 2 or 2 times 6, you get the same answer. That's not the case with division because division is not commutative. 6 divided by 2 is not the same answer as 2 divided by 6. Looking at this problem in its fraction form might make that more clear. This one says 2 divided by 6, which you can see will reduce to 1/3. Negative 2 divided by negative 6, because both numbers are negative, also has a positive answer. But 2 divided by negative 6 and negative 2 divided by 6, because one of the numbers is negative and the other is positive, both of those answers come out to be negative. But they are still 1/3. And that is the end of your summary of operations with signed numbers.